All right, this is episode 2 of this session of Poker Time. We are playing 5, 10, 20 all the way here.
Can you believe, really, that we got Chris Moneymaker to come down and play?
I actually can. It's been a long time since he won that.
Yeah,
that
that's
tournament.
true. That's true. You need a little bit of a smaller game.
So we got ATC, who has really not lived up to that nickname so far anyway, but it's only been about 40 minutes of play up till now, and he does win this one with an unknown hand.
For any of you who have any sort of an aversion to flashing lights and bright colors, we apologize for Danny's jacket. We should have done a disclaimer at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you can sue Danny, not us.
Definitely go after Danny.
Yeah.
Rachel does a good job.
You could tell me that these were the Moneymaker brothers, and I wouldn't think you were lying to me. I'll tell you what. Chris Moneymaker and his brother, Bill Moneymaker.
Bill Moneymaker, sure. Danny hit what?
What did he fold?
King Jack.
Danny's been playing
a king and a jack.
He folded ace-7 suited to a single raise last episode too. There's nothing at all like we know him to be.
This is not the Danny that I know.
I think he's just feeling his way out. There's a bunch of new players maybe he hasn't played with before.
Did he just hear about FTX?
It's very strange. Anyway, Alex flops an open-ender and top pair.
That's a nice flop. Not much for anybody else. I mean, Ross has a little bit going on.
Yep.
Dusty with absolute garbage for this flop.
Dan knows not to get involved with the idiot end of the straight.
That's what they call it.
Yep.
Where do you work, Jonathan? You don't work anywhere.
So I've heard there's a debate about what color the wall is.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
And, a lot of it for the viewer might depend on, the camera. It might not give an accurate 100% view of what the wall is.
Also, it might depend on the calibration of your monitor, phone, or television.
So nothing is real is what you're telling me?
Well, what I say is real, but no, nothing is real. Nothing is true. But still, let's take a look at it when we get back. We're going to get to it in a second here. There we go. All right. What do you see? What color do you see back there?
Like aquamarine, which I would say is a blue-green.
I would say it's way more blue than green. Do you disagree with that? Because I heard it was, some people think it's way more green than blue. And to me, it's just crazy talk.
I'm going 60-40 blue-green.
Okay. That's fine. I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that as a win.
That's a win for you. That's a win.
This is what we have in our lives, guys.
Yeah, that's all we got. I mean, I have a family, but...
Right. Yeah.
But
Grant has more.
I care more about this blue-green thing.
So usually what happens, though, and this is probably what's happening in this game as well, is people start saying to themselves, I'm going to play tighter. This time I'm going to play more careful. I'm going to play better.
I don't think Slutsky's going to be tight with this one.
Hey, now. He had aces once before, and everyone just gave him a walk.
Brian, what was Aaron's excuse for not?
And
is it going to happen again?
No, Danny will defend it. What a relief. With a real hand.
Yeah, ATC not going to play any 2 cards ever, apparently.
Apparently. And that's going to be tough to get a lot of action out of Danny, I think.
Yeah, it's not an ideal flop for aces. It's okay.
And he's going to bet and hope Danny doesn't lose his mind because they're pretty deep. Danny's capable of losing his mind.
Yeah, it would be hard to call a raise and then multiple bets with aces here.
You can't just insta-fold against a raise from Danny on this board. Danny folds, though, and life is fine for Slutsky.
You think Danny's still feeling it from the last session where he got a little bit beat up?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think so. That's not the Danny we know.
That's not the Danny way.
I think Danny is going to turn it around and find himself because, as I was saying before, Sandy picked up aces. That's Slutsky. People often start a little tighter and then find themselves just sort of like finding level, whatever their version of level is, right? Like, water finds true north or whatever.
Water finds true.
People play whatever kind of ranges that they end up playing normally. They eventually find their way to playing here. You can't stay tight for the full time because you just can't. Like, people get bored and want to do what they do. Discipline is just a myth. It's just a word. It's not a way of being.
Okay.
And Slutsky's here proving it by opening Jack 10 off.
Discipline is a myth. Interesting.
Thanks. Alex with the real hand.
Could definitely go either way with 3-betting or calling.
A call here is fine. Dusty's going to call as well. And Stu makes it 4.
Some pretty good hands here.
Yeah,
except
really.
for Slutsky's.
So let's get with the worst one. He's the pre-flop raiser, and well, no one loves it.
Nope. Tens is still in the lead, but not thrilled. Dusty's going to take a stab without any draws.
Yeah.
Not even backdoor.
This might get through, although Alex may hold on when the other two guys fold, assuming the other two guys fold.
I
Stewart is
imagine-
thinking about calling. Look at him.
That would be an ambitious call with two behind, but they are two that already checked. So Stewart is thinking they're unlikely to have anything.
It's true. There's one down, and how can Alex call now that there's a bet and a call?
And that may have been part of Stewart's calculation, that if Slutsky or Alex had an overpair to the sevens that below the queens, they might fold if Stewart calls.
Yep, I think so. It's a really tough spot to hold on. All right, let's see how much gas Dusty has in the tank. All right, now we know.
Not much.
That's a good card for Stewart as well. He's got to feel pretty good, although he could be losing to a queen here for sure.
Yeah, Dusty could definitely check a queen back on the turn.
Or even an overpair to the eights, although not super likely. It'd really be, I guess, nines. Sometimes don't 3-bet. But Stewart just gets to win, and Alex is sad.
Let's take a look at Alex for a bit and see how
Yep.
sad he is. I couldn't tell, but it felt like he was kind of sad.
I felt the sadness. He was radiating some level of, no.
Yeah, but you kind of wanted him to be radiating that, so that made you think he was doing it.
Yeah. I think you're right, though. Stewart basically said, well, Sandy Slutsky checked, so I don't have to worry about him. And then Alex checked also. Alex is going to bet a queen almost always in a 7, so how can they call behind me? I guess unless, maybe a 7 sometimes is checking for, deception, but whatever.
There's not that many 7 combos under the gun plus 1 calling a
Exactly.
raise.
It's like 7-8 suited and maybe 6-7 suited.
Maybe A7 suited.
Maybe. That's it. Well, depending on who you are.
Yeah, some players.
There's some 9-7
If
suited,
Kevin was
some
in the
5-7
game,
suited.
if Kevin was in the game, it's not
Yeah.
even doesn't have to be suited.
Yeah, 10-7 suited. Yeah. But overall, I think Stewart thought about it pretty well, and as we saw, Alex had to fold a better hand.
We have a limp from Alex with the queen 10 suited under the gun. We're gonna,
ATC, we can see his cards. This is amazing.
I can't believe it.
How did people not think that's just clearly blue? Okay, 6-3-4 with 2 spades.
Why do you have to hate on other people's experience, man?
Stu Younger flops top 2. ATC with the gutter and the overs. Slutsy with the gutter as well. And Alex comes out
Leads
betting.
into the world with the backdoor diamonds.
Huh. Okay. Sure.
Will Stewart raise? I think it's a little scary to raise, but it's also you're letting so many in if you don't.
This is way too
It says
draw
he
heavy. a board.
folded.
That can't be true.
He can't have 6-4 then. That was wrong somehow.
Yes. If he folded,
He doesn't have cards.
He was not in the hand.
He
he wasn't in
folded
the hand.
pre-flop. That's
why
what it
he's
was.
looking around like,
Well, the 3 is a really bad card for him, so
Yeah, it's true. Especially when Alex bets again.
probably not
he's
too
like,
upset about it.
he probably assumes he's dead a lot. I don't think ATC can call another barrel here when the board pairs. With Slutsky behind him, that's going to be
You could
be
raise.
optimistic.
You could raise. That's a better play.
Yeah, that's better than calling. I agree. But understandably, he's just going to get away. I mean, Alex just betting twice like this feels like strong hands. Like
does.
Full
It's-
houses.
It seems
certainly
like entirely
live.
random aggression, but it definitely worked out.
Yep. Is this just him getting back at the poker gods for the pocket tens hand?
Yep. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, he doesn't have to be sad anymore.
Particularly Jeff.
Jeff, the poker god.
Yeah, he's one of the poker gods.
Yeah. He's
You know,
the worst
there's
of them.
there's many like the Greek gods, except they have just like modern American names.
Mm-hmm. Steve, Jeff, Timofey.
Timofey, like Moskov.
Sure.
That's the
And,
only Timofey I know.
Chalamet.
That's Timothy Chalamet.
Is it?
He might spell it.
He spells it weird.
But there's a TH, not an F.
There might be an F
Where?
in that blue wall. All right.
60 blue, 40 green.
Dusty looks like he's going to play this. We are
Okay.
7-handed, so it's not a wild under the gun open or anything. It might be
Make
a
it
little,
65.
little loose.
Yeah, his opens have slightly crept higher. Remember, he started by opening
Yes.
100, then everybody was opening to 50, and he started opening to 50, and then he's like, you know what? I'm going to slowly make it bigger because I'm Dusty. I like it to be a little bigger.
Yeah. So he came back down to 55, and now we're up to 65. Danny, I see back in the game a little bit here with the ace-9 suited. Congrats, Danny.
It looks like ace-8 suited to me, but
Yep.
To each
Alex,
their own.
Alex with the ace-9 suited. That's a fair
I
point.
like it to be unsuited as well, but, that's also to each their own
Okay.
because it is unsuited. Well, there's a full house for Danny and top pair for Alex. Oh, bad luck for Danny, even after he
Chop it
checks
up.
back.
This is going to be a chop. Alex bets. Doesn't really matter. These guys are never going to fold, so this is just going to be a chop. Let's go.
Ah, come on, next hand. Unless the 9 comes.
Oh, Alex checks, interestingly enough. Is he going for a check raise here? I don't think it's going to work, but...
Denny has
kinda
no
fun.
fear, of course. He knows quads is not possible.
Right.
And there's no card over the 8. Alex is going to raise, I
If
imagine.
Danny were to get raised, I guess he's supposed to move in since he has an 8 in his hand, right?
Right, and there's no rake, so who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Looks like Alex is just going to call anyway.
Yeah.
He sort of thinks, probably correctly, that it's hard for a worse hand to call, and all the chops are going to call,
Yeah.
and better hands.
Quads are going to definitely...
Quads are not going to fold.
Yeah.
They're going to put in more money, and this seems fine. Unless you can have bluffs there, and if you can have bluffs there, then you can raise a little bit sometimes with your ace, of course. A lot of people don't have very many bluffs in that spot.
I knew I'd get lucky too, but not lucky.
Well, we have
And we're back.
That was an early ad.
Well, you know, sometimes you got to throw him a dinosaur.
Yep, and we did it.
Yeah, pterodactyl.
But that's it. We're ad-free the rest of the way. You're welcome.
Except
it's like
for
Spotify.
Except for the implant in your brain that we put there.
Yeah, and you know the banner, the Nitro betting banner, of course, that's up there.
But more insidiously, the chip in your brain that you thought you were just buying normal Cheerios, but those were Poker Guys ads for life Cheerios.
It will make a big difference. And we're going to start
Dan Ross with the hammer
Is that what they call it?
at times.
It's so fun to call things stuff like the hammer.
Oh, you know, you're just a killjoy.
They say that about me.
Yep. Your family does.
Yeah, they mean it. ATC getting the hang of the chip reader on the cards, not yet showing his
Still
cards.
working on putting the cards in the box. Stu Younger. All sorts of options here with the King Jack.
I don't think folding's really one of them.
Nope, I don't think so either. But I just said all sorts because, you know,
Yeah, sounds cool.
make him look less dumb if he folds.
He was never.
He
gonna
calls. It's
fold.
interesting. I would expect mostly he's 3-betting there.
ATC
But maybe,
has not been too
Yeah.
active. I think that's probably playing into it.
yeah, you're probably right.
Well, we see two of the hands, and one of them has nothing. The other one also has nothing.
I mean, Alex has 2 back doors.
Yeah.
Overcard, middle card.
Middle
That's
card.
nothing, apparently. Checks through it. Jack would be bad for Alex.
It's a king. That's
king is
good for
Stu.
Stewart, usually.
He checks and he's like, go ahead, someone take a shot.
And ATC did not bet, so I now feel pretty confident that Stewart has the best hand.
Yes. Oh, Stewart did not check, actually. It looked
I
like he
said
checked.
ATC checked.
Oh. It looked like Stewart had checked, or he was just playing with his chips because he's on the button, of course. And is ATC going to continue here?
He's probably got some sort of ace high that is not going to continue, is my best guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think of too many hands he could have that check the flop and then can call here.
Like pocket fours, I don't think they're going to call.
I don't know why they would.
Oh, wrong again.
Okay.
Poker
135
guy's wrong
goes
again.
in.
He could have a super slow played king's full or something like that, but that's very unlikely
Very
combinatorially.
unlikely. I don't think we have to be afraid of that. Do we really think he's going to check call king queen as Stewart? And
I
ace
think
king?
if we had king queen, I think it's a necessary value bet. As with king jack, it's getting a little closer, but I think we're still supposed to.
Yeah, me too. We have to go for some value here. You don't have to bet huge.
250.
Stuart agrees. Let's see what he does. Yeah, I have 250, 260, something like that. Let's see what he does. 275. We all agree that this is the play.
A raise is terrifying, and we fold immediately.
I think we do. He has not made any weird plays post flop, or any really aggressive plays post flop. Even he's thinking a lot. We're very straightforward. Either he calls and we win.
He must have 7s or 8s, right? That's the type of hand.
That makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Stuart bets again, it's so bad on this board, and he agrees.
Lets it go.
Feels like 8s.
We'll never know, but yeah, that seems like the most likely thing. He could have ace high spades, but it's a very strange way to play those hands.
Super weird. That if he wants to check the flop, that turn is a perfect card to bet on. That's more you than anybody else.
Yeah.
Be very strange not to bet it.
Got a fire extinguisher if anybody needs one in the back.
I mean,
there.
people need them sometimes.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a fire extinguisher in their home, by the way.
This has been
For
your
real.
Poker Guys PSA.
So you can get them like $20 on Amazon. You should get one.
And yeah, like half of them when you
Well, I
try
said
to
20, but
when you try to squeeze it, like half of them they just scream the words Jeff Bezos to get on Amazon, and that doesn't help you that much.
that's a very interesting humor tact you've decided to
Yeah.
take.
Well, you said Amazon.
I did.
I'm going with Amazon.
They're more like $50, I think, by the way, not $20
Wow,
or
we
whatever.
did- we
Maybe
did-
70. You know, whatever. They're under $100. Every
Way to
home should
rob
have
the
one.
people tax man.
Every home should have a fire extinguisher. That is all.
Unless you have a fireproof home.
If you yourself are fireproof,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, the Moneymaker Brothers.
If you
sit
don't know
next
what
to Danny.
fire is, by the way, you should Google it.
Fire?
Yeah. It's a
We're not gonna. Yeah, don't get us to tell you.
Yeah.
we're not gonna explain it. That's too much. Just Google it.
Yeah, just Google fire.
There was a website I think called CanIGoogle.com, and it was just the Google page.
That seems useless.
It's because people would say, "What's the blah blah blah," and then you send them that link, and it's like a,
Ah,
"How does it feel?" kind of a
I get
move,
it.
you know.
I get it.
Anyway,
I'm not gonna do the Google for you thing.
Dan Ross with the Ducks.
I gotta imagine Danny's playing this hand.
Of
The
course.
question is how aggressively.
Right, that's what he was thinking too, for sure.
You could
Looks like
definitely go
he's-
either way.
Looks like a call. I think I prefer a call here. I think most of the time, as Danny. His hand heads up in position, blind versus blind. It's
Two
pretty
back
good.
doors.
We
You're
ain't
probably gonna
folding
have
yet.
to float.
Gotta call this one street for sure.
Call or raise. Usually call.
Oh, raise is fine too. That's a call. And
Dan
if-
Ross hates it right now.
Oh yeah,
by the way.
Dan Ross is like, I could really use a deuce.
That is a queen. Nobody likes that card. The question is, does Danny pull the trigger, or is he only looking for back doors?
I expect he's pulling the trigger a lot. But let's see. No, he checks it back.
He might be good with ace high. That part.
Oh,
well, he's
he's
definitely good with ace high
Yeah.
now against most of Dan Ross's range.
Will Dan Ross bluff and try and get a jack to fold? He will not.
Would be totally reasonable to do, but he's not going to give it a shot.
He's very right not to do it.
Danny's going to try to get value out of a jack.
Jack or a 7. You could have maybe gotten a jack or a 7 or even a 4 to fold here by betting, but it would have failed.
What are you saying? He's trying to get value right now.
No, I'm talking about if Dan Ross had bet.
I see.
He could have. There are all these things he could have tried to fold out. Hearts missed, and so did the straight draw. So
Dan
Dan's
Ross is
gonna
going
call.
to pay it off. Nice
Yeah.
value for Danny. That's a reputational call. Danny's reputation got him paid there.
Yeah. The board really cooperated with him too. He got a hand he could bet on the river for value, and all the draws really whiffed.
Yep.
Not just whiffed, but strong whiff.
Yeah, like they took a big swing
Yeah.
and fell over.
Yeah, like Mighty Casey in Mudville.
I definitely know the reference.
You don't know what I'm talking about,
I
really?
have no idea.
There was a poem called Mighty Casey.
We're doing poems now in poker time? We're doing poems?
You know, you got to keep the culture alive in the world, and this is how we do it. Mighty Casey was about baseball.
I couldn't fold to the money.
Sounds really boring. It's a poem about baseball. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the boring duumvirate.
I think I even know the last 4 lines of it. How messed up is
I would
that?
prefer if you didn't recite them. Dusty's going to open 10s on the button.
It's something like
And then the baseball, it flung itself.
I'll do it later. We got an interesting hand happening here, so I'll stop for now. Dan Ross going to call the raise with 2-7s. Danny with ace-6 suited again.
Could definitely 3-bet here. This is more of a 3-bet than last ace-6.
Agreed.
But calling is fine too.
But if these guys aren't folding, I guess you can push them off it later.
I mean, Dusty doesn't have to have a good hand.
That's true. But Dan Ross is calling your 3-bet most of the time when he calls from here, right?
Sure, but he doesn't have a super strong range.
Yep. Danny does put in the 3-bet.
I like it.
Me too. But I would have been happy if he called too. I would have been good either way. Hey, ATC.
It's a big 3-bet.
It is. This hand is just too good to fold for Dusty. It sucks, though.
Is this a shove with the stack to
I think
pot?
it might be. He's going to call, though. And now Dan Ross with 2-7s. You're just not deep enough to set mine.
You could shove as Dan Ross now. Dusty could have a hand like King Queen suited and end up folding to a shove.
Yep.
Danny could have anything. It's Danny. But Dan lets it go. That's probably the prudent move.
I think the concern is Dusty just isn't folding now that he put that much money in.
It's certainly possible.
I think with 10s, he's definitely calling, and Dan is dead. So that's a good fold. And there's a 10 right in the window.
What a flop for Dusty. What a joy. When you're worried at all, this will just take that right away. And this is such a dry board with 2 back doors for Denny. It's a mandatory continue. Dusty's so happy. Let's see if he can contain his happiness. 265. Very small bet, which you would expect on this type of board. It looks like he's going to fold for a second, but of course,
yeah, it did.
That's not what's going to happen. He's making sure he really has the nuts.
To raise or to call, these are the questions. Danny did put in the 3-bet.
It's got to be a call against Danny. With this SPR, if Danny has anything, you're going to get it in anyway.
Yep.
Leave the bluffs alive this way.
Yep. There's no card really you're afraid of. I mean, if Danny makes a bigger set on the river, who cares? You're getting it in anyway. Dan Ross right now is upset, but it turns out he's happy.
He's living in Joyland internally without knowing it.
Yeah, he's blissful, but can't feel it.
Danny is in a way a bit lucky he didn't pick up either of his backdoor draws.
So let's see if Dusty just puts it in or if he goes for a smaller bet.
955 in his stack, 1.4 in the pot. You could definitely shove. You could check. It's a really dry board. You could
true.
check.
There's nothing to really be afraid of.
If Danny had diamonds that backdoored, he probably would have bet himself, so that's not a huge concern.
Agreed. And if Danny had like 8-9, all those things he's going to bet. Any draw, he's betting, right?
Mostly.
So this is going to be very hard. Well, because Dusty has less than a pot back, so Dusty's just going to shove a lot, and Danny's going to be forced to fold those draws. So he's almost always going to move Dusty in. Danny can't call this though. He's hoping for 4-5 exactly.
That's what he's hoping for. Maybe ace 4, ace 5. He does block those.
Dusty had to call a big 3-bet with those for 20% of his stack pre. I don't know if he's doing that. We block some of it with the ace in our hand.
Doesn't want to fold, but he knows he has to.
Yeah.
Dusty gets a pretty nice pot there, but a little bit disappointed not to get all of it.
He probably doesn't get the rest no matter what, but a check back would have given him a shot. And maybe Danny once in a while rivers an ace or something.
Or maybe he shoves the river just because Dusty checks back. He's like, puts him on a pair between the 3 and the 10. He's like, I can get him to fold that.
Yep. Or a king comes or a queen comes, whatever. And you're just like, how can Dusty call? Oh, it's so good to call those big re-raises then just flop a set, isn't it?
It's a nice thing.
It really is. Once again, Dan Ross. Really lucky Danny 3-bet.
He really dodged a bullet there, yeah.
I think he's calling a flop C-bet on the 10-high dry board. Turns the set of 7s is going to double Dusty up.
For sure. It's a guarantee.
But that is part of the way it goes. Sometimes what seems like a bad event is a good event. Grant knows all about that.
Yeah. I know all about the bad event, good event thing. Ace 6 suited is the hand of the day. Everybody's getting it, especially Danny, but also Alex now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Alex going to limp. Dusty going to limp. And Dan Ross says, I have 9-8 off, so I'm the guy putting in the 3-bet.
I'm going to curve towards infinity. I don't care.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't believe that Dusty really had top set, even though Dusty said he did. And so he's thinking, I could have won that big pot last time, and now I'm annoyed.
That's a good Dan Ross internal monologue right there.
Thanks.
That's part of it, yeah. Just a low growl in the background.
Alex calls.
Dusty's getting a really good price, but his hand is a little junky.
Yeah.
If it were suited, it would be obvious.
And he's not even in position with Dan buying the button with that big raise.
He already had
he
the button.
Yeah, he owned the button. Oh, Dusty, why? Dan, of course, has a diamond in his hand, and Dusty would have only flopped a pair.
Yeah, Alex has a better hand. What are you talking about?
Well, Dusty would have flopped a gutter, though, too. Dan continues, and Alex just shouldn't fold really for one bet here, even though...
It's a scary board, and if you think Dan's going to continue on all 20
Yeah.
cards, I mean, you could, but it makes complete sense to call from a game theory perspective.
Yeah, we're just folding way too much if we fold top pair on the flop.
To Dan Ross, especially.
Yeah. To most people.
Well, yeah.
And oh my, Dusty would have made two pair.
Oh, my God. It keeps getting scarier, and it's a give up for Dan if he hits a diamond, which he does.
Diamond.
I want to see if he value bets. It is, what is it, the third nuts? It's not bad.
It is the third nuts. Yeah. And Alex checks to him, so can we get called by worse? Maybe. Ooh, Dan goes 400 into 700.
He now can easily fold to a raise. That's some of the benefit of this bet.
Sure. Probably could have folded to a raise anyway, but
True.
doesn't seem like Alex can find a call with this one, though, right?
You just got to put Dan on 2 sevens that doesn't have a diamond.
Dan is targeting really worse diamonds and jacks here for Broadway. Alex is thinking about it, though.
Wow, he just really doesn't believe.
Is he maybe contemplating a raise?
That
Thinking
would
that
be-
Dan really rarely has like the jack of diamonds. He's almost always continuing on the turn with the jack of diamonds.
He has to continue on the turn with the jack of diamonds, you would think. And Alex makes the call.
Wow.
What value from Dan Ross. What incredible value.
Wow.
Nice hand. That was a pretty good run out, and it worked out really well.
It did. Really took advantage of that that 9 of diamonds, that solitary 9 of diamonds.
Chasing that hard. They've been in Vegas for like my friend was there when I was at the Win. He was after I left him. He's like, "You should come over to Harrah's and play. Like you don't have to pay for it. I'll pay for it. Just I need you to play because I'm trying to hit
Gotta
this
keep playing.
6 million jackpot."
Jeez.
And Mitsif, you guys know Jeff Mitsif? He was playing the same time that it hit, and he had been playing for hours with that guy. Call that hit, and they were like bullshitting around, and they like had talked about.
Dusty's turn with the sevens.
But they didn't.
The walking sticks.
I expect Danny's going to pump it. What? Did Danny really fold ace-9 off after
That-
2 limps? That's so against everything he is.
That's very unexpected,
He's not that person.
but he was just now.
It's confusing.
He's the dynamic,
Yeah.
which by definition means changes.
Well, if you're the dynamic, maybe
Yeah,
not.
maybe not.
But-
But as an adjective,
Yes.
means easily changeable,
Pretty sure. 'Cause a lot of
variable.
you can barely bet $5 anywhere.
Oh, really? I haven't played Pegao in like 20 years.
All right. Well, Dusty can't fold 2 sevens here. We know
No.
that.
No, you cannot. Big raise from Stewart, by the way.
Yeah. And Stu Younger is like rats.
That's too bad. I hope I flop a couple clubs at least.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't.
Or, maybe something that'll scare these guys into folding.
That is
Nope.
not the board Stewart was looking for, especially considering Dusty flopped a set.
Another set for Dusty. This is the third one because he had one last episode, too.
The dustification
There's
continues.
a set of sevens last time as well.
Somebody's keeping track of sets.
Yeah.
Set tracker.
Has anyone else even made a set?
Alex just leads randomly.
Yeah, he does. And Dusty's like, well.
This is kind of like the Queen 10 hand, except higher stakes because that was a limp pot.
Okay.
Dusty, if I were Dusty, I'd be very tempted to raise right now. I would think Alex had something.
Dusty's just going to put in the call. Turns out that's the perfect thing to do.
It certainly is.
Alex's best card is a 9 here. That's not a 9 at all. But that might scare Dusty, and now
Yeah.
he may be regretting. Is he going to bet this? That's a strange decision. I guess you can charge 9, 10.
He checked. And yeah, so Dusty's betting. Okay. And Alex just gives up.
Yep.
Could save you some money, man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
found a set of sevens. I think that 5 like a good card for you.
Boy, Dusty is hitting that deck hard.
Yeah, and being honest about it too.
Yep.
Telling his opponents.
Yeah, they never believe you anyway.
Well, if you're gonna be bluffing a lot in the future, it doesn't hurt to try to. I mean, I guess you could show it if you really wanted them to believe.
They're all going to see it in a
That sounds like something.
few weeks anyway.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive he was not there.
You know that Oregon lottery 8-spot Keno?
Yeah.
When it gets to 90K, it's plus EV.
Well, there's no hand bad enough for Slutsky to fold out of the
Apparently.
big blind when
It hit.
the small blind's already folded.
It was.
It was like 60 something yesterday.
Even the 7 deuce off. And is the best hand currently. It's almost impossible for 7 deuce off to be the best hand. Right now, it's only beating 6-5 and 4-5 and
now,
4-6.
Well, now it made a deuce, so
Oh, that's right.
things have changed.
Fine. You're right. It's less exciting.
And we get called.
With the gutter, it is cheap.
Another king would be an ambitious value bet.
He is he bluffing? He's got to be bluffing, right?
Deuce, deuce, king, king, 8.
He's chopping with
Yeah.
deuces. Is he trying to get ace high
Well,
to
he's-
call him?
He's losing to deuces that have a
Oh, a good deuce. You're right.
kicker higher than an 8,
He's trying to get a 3 to fold specifically.
or just trying to get ace high to call, like you said. I don't know.
Ace high that didn't raise when it was checked. to
It's
him,
hard- it's hard to
completed
know.
Yeah.
I have tickets right now. The sweat is on.
Oh, sometimes I'd like just to take my wrench and my socket and pry open these guys' heads and see what's going on in there, you know?
Your wrench in your socket.
Yeah, the socket and the wrench, the socket wrench as
Mm.
well. The wrench socket, all the different tools.
Jonathan's a real DIY guy.
Yeah, I love to build
Yeah.
with my hands.
Right. You know the Statue of Liberty? That was him.
Yeah, and then Brian actually.
Well, not all of it. That's not
No,
fair.
you did at least like the good parts where like the good body parts.
You know all the wood around it that like people stand on to like build the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
That was me.
Nice.
I did that.
Yeah.
I do the. I'm kind of a wood standing on wood kind of guy.
That's nice. Yeah. Well, a lot of things are wood that you stand on.
Oh yeah.
So it's an important job.
I mean, look at your floor. Sometimes it's wood.
It depends on who you are and where you are.
Yeah. If you're on a rug,
Then
you're thinking it's not wood.
but you're wrong.
It might be.
All right. Old timey Danny would open this.
1,000,000% of the time.
I'm not so sure though.
Danny looks like he wants to fold.
Oh, what is going on? Danny has changed his ways. He looks disgusted with himself. He's
Danny,
like-
we're disgusted too.
yeah. What is happening here?
How can you be the dynamic if you don't play any hands?
I think we have to revoke the nickname at least
Yeah.
for the time being.
Yeah, he's got to earn it.
Dan Ross can still be the molecule.
Dan Ross is the molecule.
He's
still.
quite molecular.
Yeah.
Your first read, I mean, your first read. No. Bet 60.
He probably felt guilty because he got enough money from the Oregon lottery.
Yeah, we won like 1,700 or something total. But yeah, it would have been.
Well, not a lot happened in that hand, Grant.
15,000 another. Probably, but still, it would have been a fun few years. Yeah, downstairs, you probably would have hit more jackpots.
ATC starting things off. And he's got 9 deuce, and he's not going to play it.
Raised 60. Yeah, right.
I hope Slutsky made it $66 because that's perfect.
It would be amazing, except that it's not a legal bet.
But it would be cool. He could say 66, and they say you have to make it 65. And he would say, oh.
Oh no.
Oh, look at this, Danny. All right, there it is. By the way, I mean, he's closing action.
Yeah, that's a normal call.
Totally normal. But still, it's good to see. Oh, that 4 was exciting for
Oh,
Danny.
it was so close.
Well, Alex has middle pair, and that's about it.
Backdoor, diamond draw. Yeah, not much going on besides that.
If we could check through and we get a 6 on the turn, things would light up, but it's not happening. I don't think Slutsky can find a call here. He doesn't.
Okay, I'll have to set my notifications to 90,000.
I set mine to 100.
That's smart. Mine's at 70 or something, so I only play it once every 70, but now that I know.
Slutsky going to play another one.
It's 55.
You know, this is one you got to play.
Yep.
So is the last one?
Sure. It was not a critique,
It felt like one.
just a statement
I
of
have to
fact.
defend the Slutsky when the Jonathan goes after the Slutsky.
ATC looks like he is going to defend, though.
He's not going to learn about the card reader, though. He's not.
He
He
really seems to be
refuses to
struggling
learn.
with that. It's almost random when we find out what he has, but it's fun to play against the blind hand, too.
Well, this is a bad flop for Slutsky, and it's fine just to check back.
Let's see if he chooses to do that.
Oh my god, you are stupid.
ATC hasn't acted yet, according to our data.
There we go.
Slutsky is going to bet. Just hope it works out. There are some hands that will get folded.
Yep, but it's about half pot.
My mom always texts us when we all live in different states, and she's like, make sure we get them in.
Well, this is not what you want to see.
It is time to shut it down. Check on literally every card on the turn. I think
We could bet a non-diamond ace if we wanted to.
Would you want to though?
Well, we could charge all the draws. I think it's reasonable to bet if you turn top pair, because all the straights miss, all the diamonds miss.
Hey, look, it's ace deuce against ace deuce, but ATC's
Oh.
is a much better ace deuce.
Wow, is it better? So let's say he's going to take another shot, trying to rep that king now.
Well, 130. If you bet bigger, I would think it had a chance of working.
The question for ATC is to call or to raise. Obviously, he can't fold this hand in this spot. He's getting 3-1 on a call anyway, which isn't too
Slutsky
bad.
is repping king jack plus here, I
Yep.
would say. Maybe king 10. And he's going to make the call. There's a chance. I don't know if Slutsky has a third barrel in him here. Ooh, now it's going to go check, check, and we're going to chop it up, huh?
I would assume so.
It'd be really shocking to me if either player
Could
bet.
Slutsky go for really thin value here against ATC? Trying to get called by the king X of diamonds. Nope. It would have been tough to do.
Ace and a deuce. Ace and a deuce.
And everybody looks about how you're supposed to look when you see the results of that hand. Just, yeah, next hand.
Hey, everyone had the same hand.
Cool.
That's
Did I grab that? Okay, you grabbed it, right? Okay, good.
it's too bad when you're ATC and it goes check, check on the river. You're like, hey, we win
Yep.
most of the time. What a cool deal.
For buying them in states that you don't have to report if you won it. Like in
Oh, yeah,
Oregon,
yeah, for sure.
you know, if you won the Powerball, everybody would know that Dan Ross won the Powerball.
Did Dan Ross win the Powerball?
Well, everyone would know if he did, so I'm going to say no, since
Okay.
you are asking if he did.
Well,
Because you would have
am I
known
part
he
of
did.
everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
You are part of that
I always get confused by that.
demographic.
Oh, in Washington you don't have to. Yeah, but
Let's see if Slutsky goes for 3 in a row.
yeah.
Yep.
He will be going for 3 in a row. Is it reasonable? We'll find out soon.
I'm going to say it is. I feel like he plays.
Seems likely.
Pretty
He
straightforward
did open
ranges.
Jack 10 off, but yeah, deuces. That's reasonable. Alex is going to see a flop with King Jack.
I'm not living there.
Dusty's going to fold 8-6 suited. That's a
Really?
bit surprising.
Wow. That is surprising.
Danny folded kings, of course.
ATC.
King 7 suited. We actually got to see his hand, which was a nice treat.
It was exciting for us.
Well
And
lasted.
ace 3 of diamonds for Stu Younger. ATC thrilled he didn't call right now as he's watching this.
As he sees it on his
He's
phone.
dominated in all ways. Oh, is Stuart going to go for the old 3-bet right here? Looks like he's
It is
thinking about
Slutsky's
it.
third open in a row.
Yep. And Slutsky just had to chop, and Stuart's done. Just done with this.
It's like that movie Falling Down. You've seen that?
Yeah,
right?
I haven't, but I know what it is.
Yeah,
Michael
it's
Douglas.
exactly like that movie. That's what's going on with Stuart right now.
Stuart size is so big, too. These guys just do not have hands to continue against that size.
Not at all.
There goes one.
That's the unconventional play, but I like that Stuart has it in his arsenal.
Yep. There goes number 2.
Did you sit in a cash game and find
Yeah, it's so easy just to call there and see a flop, but Stuart knows if he wants to get action with ace king and kings and aces and stuff like that, got to have some bluffs.
Yep, and the ace wheel suited, all the kids love those ones.
They do. The kids are fond of them.
It's like Go-Gurt. Kids can't get enough.
Yeah, and string cheese.
String cheese is delightful.
Like you said, kids can't get enough.
Are you telling me you don't like string cheese?
I'm saying you're a kid.
Sure.
You're a child.
Are you telling me? I'm asking you a question. Do you
Mhm.
like string cheese?
Is a baby talking to me right now?
Wow. This is how we're going to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we're doing.
Retaliation will occur. You won't know when. You won't know how.
Have you had a lot of Go-Gurt in your life?
Nope, never.
Me either. Literally 0.
I imagine it tastes like yogurt. But
I think that's
the delivery
what it's
method is
supposed
just
do.
to squeeze yogurt into your mouth. I
Yeah.
think that's just what it is.
So it's just for people on the go.
Yeah, it's Go-Gurt.
Type A personalities.
If you have
Selesky-
a high pressure job, like CEO or something.
Selesky does not raise the ace-3 suited. Oh, and look at this flop. This is kind of an action flop, but blind versus blind.
It certainly is.
Unraised.
Jeremy?
I was so confused.
I would be surprised if Selesky went for a raise here, though, and he calls.
It would actually be somewhat reasonable in this configuration, but
Yep.
it's totally normal to call too.
Generally want to have a little better kicker.
Stuart pairs up.
Probably going to bet again, but doesn't have to.
What if I was encouraged in Dublin? I'm doing 45.
Yep, he's going to just fire away. All the hands that called on the flop are all beating a 6, so, and you have hearts, so it's hard for you to really, it's hard to get, if it goes check, when you check, you're behind. Sort of assumes he's behind.
And
You know
he
what I'm
gets,
saying.
He gets called anyway. He's
Yeah.
going to hope to improve. Probably a 9 or a 6 is his best way to get paid.
Well, it's
It's
the
a
5
heart.
of hearts.
That's a great card for Stuart. I'm not sure he can get paid on it.
It is going to be tough when Stuart bets again here. What does he have now? He's got to have like Jack 10 with a heart in his hand. And he went bet. It
Right.
seems very unlikely.
Because he's got to be concerned about Slutsky having hearts if Stuart had a made hit on the flop.
Absolutely. 385 in there. How's Stuart going to size it?
He looks like he's going mid.
160.
Yeah, 160.
He's trying to get called by an ace. That is a value sizing, right? I have a reasonable value bet, but I don't have a super strong hand. I'm not polarizing, even though he does have an exceptional hand. Maybe looking to... And he does get the call. With that sizing, not shocking. Although I don't know what Cindy can beat.
So are the
A bluff.
A bluff.
Euro pros in Europe as douchey as the Euro pros?
Well, if any player had raised pre-flop, it would have been a lot bigger, Sandy. Think of that. And by Sandy, I mean Slutsky.
Of course
That's
you
his
do.
name.
Of course you do. That one must have hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. At least he only called 160 on the river, so he only lost like $350 in the hand, which
Yeah.
isn't nothing, but it could have been worse.
Yes.
Again, a pre-flop raise would have really, that's like a 4th street of value,
Everything is bigger.
Yeah, like the river now, even if Stuart's going small, is like 300.
Although he might not call the river in that case.
That's true. That's a fair point.
Ace Jack for Danny's. I think this might be the last hand, huh? The interns are telling me.
Are they? Well, if they're telling it to you, they lie, but not about this anyway.
Ace Queen for Slutsky.
Hello. Slutsky's just been playing it's like 5 in a row.
Should definitely be 3-betting most of the time here, but calling would be
Against
okay
Danny,
as well.
especially, yeah. And I mean, I don't know what Slutsky's plan is if he gets 4-bet, and Danny's capable of 4-betting with trash, so maybe the plan is just never to fold.
You could just fold if you really want to. I mean, it's not the end of the
it's
world.
not an ideal spot either, but
Looks like Danny's
Wow,
gonna
is he
fold.
just gonna fold this
Oh my
hand?
goodness! And
How does
Danny
he do
once
it?
again shocks the world as we end this episode. Will we find the
Interesting.
real Danny? Will the real Danny please stand up?
please stand up. Please stand up.
Because we're upset. That's the subtext in that
Right.
Eminem song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that size.
All right, well, we'll see you next time.